Hi, I'm Chris Burdick, CPA, creator of EasyBooks by Chris. And thank you for purchasing the EasyBooks by Chris Small Business Bookkeeping and Tax Workbook. I created this for small businesses and freelancers to help bookkeeping and simplify tax season. Let's get started.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to EasyBooks by Chris. My name is Chris Burdick, CPA, and the creator of EasyBooks by Chris. Thank you for your purchase, first and foremost. This is the EasyBooks by Chris year-end tax planner. This is in line with the spreadsheets and files I've been creating over the last while, which are designed for small businesses, freelancers, Etsy sellers, designed to be very simple spreadsheets, nothing overly complicated, to make things easier on the user. So again, thank you for your purchase, and let's get started. So as you know, if you've seen any of my other files, every one of my files starts with a Start Here tab, and this is always where you should start. It's an easy beginning. It gets you started. It shows you where to start, and you can just go from there. So you can see it's a quick start guide. Got a couple notes down here, and then this important section, which is the need help section. You can either email me at chrisburdickcpa@gmail.com, or you can contact me on my Etsy shop as well. I'm starting to accumulate a little bit of a library on my Etsy shop. These are 3 so far that I've created. The bookkeeping spreadsheet, which is basically like the heart of the EasyBooks ecosystem. The universal transaction cleaner, which will take your bank CSV download and get it into a usable format for the bookkeeping spreadsheet. And then the EasyVoice invoice tracker, which is probably my most in-depth spreadsheet to this point. You can create and manage all of your invoicing needs and then export them easily into the bookkeeping spreadsheet so you can see where your business is at currently. So if you're looking for any more like a complete bookkeeping throughout the year system, check out these 3 files. I think they'll help you out. Okay, so let's go back up here to the quick start guide. If you've ever used any of my files, I've always designed them like such. Start here, and then you just go left to right, and that's how the workbook flows. So you can see here the quick start guide will go to complete your tax snapshot. So we'll move on over here. All right, so your tax snapshot. Now this entire thing is estimated, right? So tax situations are complicated. There's a lot of things that go into calculating what your actual tax liability is and taxable income is for the year. So this is really just an estimate, something to give you an idea. It's not to be used for final tax prep. It's not to be used in lieu of getting professional tax help. So that being said, I mean, you can see the business projection. So what we want to do here, it's pretty easy. All of the gray shades are cells that need user input. So your projected business revenue, I was thinking that probably this file should be completed somewhere around October of the year. That way you can take your the actions and opportunities from this workbook and put them into action, act on them, so you can use it effectively to get tax savings. So if that's the case, if you're doing this in October, then you should have a good idea of what your projected 2026 business revenue expenses should look like. I do know that if you're retail, you'll see an uptick in December, but you can accommodate that within this estimated number. But so I'm just going to use examples that make up. So we'll say $100,000 revenue, $65,000 of expenses. Congratulations, you have made $35,000 of business income, which you'll be taxed on. But we're going to try to figure out ways to get this number reduced, and I'll show you. I'll walk you through how we're going to do that. So, like I said, the tax situations are complicated. So I tried to make this as simple as possible as far as getting the basic information that we need to make an assumption on how your tax rates. So really, without making it too overly complicated, I came down to just basically these five will give us a decent look, right? So as you know, if you've ever done taxes, filing status is always where they start. I'm just going to do this based on my personal situation. So I'll be married, filing jointly. My wife and I filed jointly. Tax state, we are located in North Carolina. So these are the estimated rates down here for based on what your state is and what your filing status is and what your income will be. Other taxable household income, this is again, it's just another estimate. Just say your wife makes $50,000, right? So that will be that will be included in the 35,000 that you're showing up here. So that's just another estimable amount. Federal estimated and state estimated taxes paid for the year. As a good business owner, I'm sure you guys are all making timely quarterly estimated tax payments. I would recommend doing that. They severely limit your tax liability at the end of the year. It decreases the burden at tax time. So this is a place to put in the amounts that you have paid, both federal and state, for the year. So we'll go say $15,000 for the state estimated taxes paid, and we'll say $5,000. All right. So with that all being said, these are the planning assumptions. Estimated taxable income for planning, $52,800. This number also has a standard deduction built into it. So if you itemize, this number will be different, but this spreadsheet is probably not going to help you as much if you're an itemized deductor. So discussion for a different day. But you can see federal estimated rate 12%, the state estimated rate 4%, estimated self-employment tax 14.3. This spreadsheet takes into account the 15.3 is the general self-employment tax rate, but as a self-employed person, you would not pay if you're set up as you're taxing your entity correctly. You won't have to pay the employee portion of the income. So that builds this. That's built into this 14.13 is taking out the percentage that would be the employee portion for you. Again, another topic for another day, but that's why that number is 14.13 and not 15.3. All right, and here's your projected snapshot. Right? Same thing we have up top: $100,000 revenue, 65 expenses, 35 business net profit, estimable taxable income 52.8. All right. After this is all completed, this is basically the brains of it. We're going to go over here and make some decisions, right? So again, just repeat the net business income, Fed and state planning rates, and this is where you will decide. You'll review what your individual needs are for a business and decide if you want to include them in. Okay, so this is where we review your opportunities. I've chosen 12 fairly common situations that arise that some people may not think to check prior to year end. So these are hard coded in here. There's no other way to add any others, but this will give you an idea of what to look for. So review your opportunities. I should say that this is for business opportunities. This is not for personal opportunities. So all of these will reduce your business taxable income. So I have not gotten to a personal finance suite yet. All these are aimed towards small businesses. So just keep that in mind. These will only reduce your business taxable income. Okay, so how this works, essentially you see the opportunities here, right? So unrecorded business expenses, say have you captured all your ordinary necessary business expenses during the year? Business equipment, is there anything you can purchase? Business mileages, have you documented all your eligible mileages? And etc. And what you want to do is you run through all these, consider what it says here in the what to consider column, and decide, is there any amount that you feel like you haven't included? So I'm going to go through and just do some examples just to show you how the spreadsheet works, but you can tailor this for your own business. Okay, so unrecorded business expenses, we'll say we found 1,000 unrecorded business expenses. So this over here is notes. You can type in, so depreciation expense excluded, something like that, just to give you a reminder of what it was. And so if you want to include this into your scenario planner and action plan, you're going to need to come over here and click on yes to include. And it'll include that $1,000 in the tax planning scenarios. For instance, like, so there's business equipment that you feel like you need to purchase, but it's $25,000 or something. For instance, you're not going to do that yet, and you just kind of want to make a note of it. You can put 25,000 there, put no, and then it won't take it into consideration in the scenario planner or the action plan. So I'm going to just run through to a few of these really quick so I can show you what the next couple tabs look like. Business mileage, forgot $1,500 there. And again, this is a drop-down menu, but you can just enter it like that if you'd like. Home office, sure, we'll include that. We left $500 out there. Software and subscriptions, no, we didn't have any. So 0. Professional fees. Say one of your employees took the CPA exam, bought a study guide. You can write off, or not write off, but you can use that to reduce your taxable income. So we'll call that $3,000. We'll include this. Education, it could also be included down here in education and professional development. But we'll say no here. 0 here. Business insurance, we'll go no here as well. That's been included. Retirement contributions. We'll say that you didn't max out your employees' 401ks and you came up $1,000 short there. Same with HSA contributions. We'll include 1,000 there. Self-employed health insurance, we've got that covered. And then estimated tax review, and you won't even be able to choose this in the future, but that's always going to be no. This is just advice, essentially. So now you've got all of the things you're included that you want to include. And so you can see down here, it'll tell you how many opportunities were selected and the potential planning amount. This is how much that you has been left out of the of your business expenses. So you can see here, continue to the scenario planner. We click over here to the scenario planner, and now you'll see the adjustments. So this is set up as before planning and after planning. All of these things here, estimated taxable income, 52,800, estimated taxes, 15,909. But after your plan, you now have estimated taxable income at 5672, and then the estimated taxes you'll pay 15,268. Now, and then it'll itemize it down here. Again, this will just show you, ways that you can possibly reduce your tax burden for the current year. Estimated impact again, it'll just show you the total opportunities selected, the total planning amount, $8,000. We went over that. Estimated tax savings, $641. So, again, this is just a disclaimer that this is for planning purposes only. Okay, so the last thing is we'll go to the results and the action plan, right? So this again just runs through the opportunities that you selected, number 6, tax before planning, tax after planning, the tax savings based on your action plan. So now the important part is to actually do your action plan. So depending on what you choose is yes, your steps will pop up here. Review your records to ensure eligible business expenses, document mileage, verify your home office deduction, just common things that you need to do, and then update your books for the amount that you've missed. And then these are just some common year-end checklist things. Review all planned tax planning opportunities. Just stuff. Tax time to prepare with your tax filing with your tax professional. I mean, it's just simple, common sense stuff that you would probably do anyway. And then another disclaimer: this is just for planning purposes only. This is not in lieu of professional tax advice. So, all right. So that is basically it for the year-end tax planner. Again, thanks for your purchase. And if you need help, please check out the tutorial videos which you're watching now. Email your questions to me here. Message me at the Etsy shop is fine. Check these guys out. I think these will help any small business as well. And all right, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.